stand. When I first saw FireAde, I didn't get it. I'm gonna tell it as it is, I just didn't get it. I didn't understand it, but boy, after I'd finished my presentation with the inventor, the pioneer, his name is Ron, an amazing gentleman, did I get it after that. We have these at home and I would never be without it. If you wanna instantly put out a fire, this is the way to do it. Instantly cools any hot surface, non-toxic. If the unexpected happens, and we're never expecting a fire, obviously, if a fire does happen, what do? You run over here, you run over there. How are we gonna put it out? What's the best way to put it out? Traditional fire extinguishers are big and bulky, heavy, and a little cumbersome and awkward to use, and really messy. Ron created a product called FireAde that is revolutionary, and it's gone on to be a worldwide bestseller. We're gonna show you in the next 10 minutes why it's a worldwide bestseller. Tonight we've got a twin pack, so we're doing the jumbos. This is 2 of our 16 ounces, so this is gonna be a lot for you. You can put one maybe in the kitchen, put one elsewhere in the house, maybe keep one outside if you're grilling, whatever it may be. We want to show you why this is so special. And here tonight to do it is the #1 fan of FireAde, Mr. Peter Kilcullen joins us on the 4th of July to really take us on a guided tour. Pete, I see the flames. How are you, my friend?
I am good, Adam. Great to see you. Yeah, I love everything you said about it. This is such a great time to make sure we're prepared for those things that happen, those unexpected things where the fire can happen. Here's the best thing about it, and I'm gonna put out some of these fires. You're gonna be able to pick up FireAde. I don't mean actually buy it, pick it up when it's at home, and you already know how to use it. It's just like using bug spray or even hairspray. So check this out. Here's the FireAde non-toxic, water-based, and I'm gonna use it on this fire right here. Well, let me move around. From a distance, I'm gonna be able to hit that fire with the FireAde, and as you said, instantly cool that surface. Now I can move closer because I feel a little bit better. That fire is cool and out. This is what's so exciting about FireAde. Now, if I had to put this back on the shelf, and for whatever reason, maybe it's just grilling out or tailgating or camping, and I want to put that fire out, same thing. I can go back to the same container. I can do it from a distance with that FireAde, cool that surface, then move in and make sure that it's completely out. This is what's so amazing about FireAde. You talked about Ron, who invented this, used by so many fire departments around the United States. It really is a difference. Many of us have never used a fire extinguisher, and we don't know how.
Right.
Here with FireAde, it's instant. You know how to use it immediately.
And that's such a massive point. When Pete just said that, most of us have never used a fire extinguisher, and thank God we haven't had to use a fire extinguisher, right? We've never known really have to. I'll say that again in English. We've never had to know how to use a fire extinguisher. So when it comes to, God forbid, there being a fire and you pick up a fire extinguisher, it's like, well, what do I do? Because you know, there's a few different kind of components to it. What Ron did with this and why it received worldwide acclaim is because he used a delivery system and a delivery method that is so familiar to all of us. Pete just said it, it's like spraying hairspray. It is. You know, you look at this, you know how to use this. You're gonna press this down. And when you press this down, something's gonna come out of here. That's it. So you could say it's user-friendly. So in that moment, in the blink of an eye, when a fire happens on that stovetop and you gotta put it out, you need to put it out, you're not worried, well, what do I do? Because you know everything freezes, you freeze. All of a sudden, the simplest tasks become so hard. Having to figure out how a traditional fire extinguisher works is not something you wanna have to contend with. With this, I pick it up, I understand, I just press the button down, and out it comes. Instantly cooling any hot surface in a non-toxic way, water-based. And that's a big point as well, right, Pete? Because the way this is delivering, it isn't creating a massive amount of mess like a traditional fire extinguisher would, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's very easy cleanup. So I'm using it outdoors, but you can use it indoors. So I just have one more fire, and before it just goes out itself here in the bucket, I want to show you again from a distance. I'm going to use that FireAde to cool that, and I can move closer and now make sure that it's completely out. That's what's so nice about this. And you're right. So if it gets on your hands, if it gets on those countertops, you know, with those chemical-based fire extinguishers, that can be a massive and difficult cleanup. Here, it's water-based. You can wipe it up. It's not going to damage any surface. It's certainly not going to damage your hands if it gets on it, because it's water-based and it does such a great job. Hey, Adam, I know that's maybe a great time to mention one of the big things that people talk about is having those grease fires in the kitchen.
Right.
And so when we talk about this water-based, they're thinking, well, maybe I can't use that for the grease fire. So, with the help of Ron, I got to watch a lot of these demonstrations where this is going to work on those grease fires. Now, instead of spreading it everywhere, and that happens with those other fire extinguishers, you will get an initial flare up when using this, but then so quickly it's going to cover that surface of the grease fire, cool that surface, and put it out. So that's a question we always get. It works fantastic on those grease fires as well. And 97% of all the other household fires that you could possibly have. And again, this is a great time. I wish we had done this maybe a week ago. Obviously, 4th of July, we want to be celebrating. People will be celebrating outside. Maybe fireworks come into that. But it just is another example of things that we might do outdoors, things that we might consider the fun times. But why not have FireAde with us? Whether it's grilling at a new place, or maybe at a park somewhere, or it's campfire, or it's going to be just that outdoor fire pit. Have this there. Not only make sure nothing dangerous happens, but maybe to put that fire out as well. Because remember, you can use a little bit of it, and you can go back to it the next day or the week later and use it over and over again. Adam, 5 years shelf life when you have this. So think about those times where you're having fun this summer to use this, but then also where to put it in your house so you can have it available if that emergency happens.
And that's a really big point. 5 years shelf life is a long time. So you get this, you have it at home, and you don't need to even think about it. But if ever there was a fire, you've got something that you can reach for, instantly know how to use it, and quickly and effectively instantly cool any hot surface. Tonight we're doing the jumbo size, but we're doing the twin pack. So that's a really great opportunity. Look, maybe it's one for your home and one for your son and daughter-in-law's new apartment. Absolutely share this, gift this with friends and families and loved ones, people that you worry about and you think about, the last person that you think about when you go to sleep at night and the first person you think about when you wake up. Danger is around, as horrible as it sounds, every corner. We never want to be in a situation where there is a fire, but fires happen. As long as we're prepared and we've got the right tools to be able to tackle it, then at least we have that fighting chance of getting through it quickly and easily with nobody being affected. This is made right here in the United States of America. That's another big point. A lot of people want to hear that, especially on a product like this. When Pete said that, fire departments across the country are very familiar with this, when we talk about the achievements, the accolades, the awards that Ron has received for developing this technology, they are plentiful. What Ron said was there's got to be a better way for every one of us at home, for at-home use, to have a fire extinguisher product that isn't this big, or isn't so complicated to understand, where I have to stop and read a tag or a label. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3. Because by the time you get to step 3, that fire is already bigger than it was when you were at step 1. If there's a fire, I reach down, I grab FireAde, I press the button, and out it goes. There's a simplicity to it, which is why it's so popular. I said non-toxic, water-based, that's important. Pete's already addressed the grease fire situation. Absolutely, you can use this on a grease fire. I hope everybody is, of course, safe and has a great time tonight, maybe with fireworks. But let's think about in the future, this is going to be really good to have on hand, right? Always. If you're going to be grilling outside a lot, maybe you already are. Accidents can happen, flare-ups can happen. Let's make sure we've got this as well on standby. Pete, where would you recommend, obviously this is a twin pack and we can certainly share this with friends or family, where would you recommend that we locate these in the house?
Yeah, definitely. Certainly the kitchen. So we talked about that kitchen, if we're doing a lot of cooking, things can happen in the kitchen. So that's a great place to have one. So another place I've been thinking about is if you have a specific room for the washer and dryer and you're going to be doing that, sometimes the dryer can be cause a lot of these fires where sometimes those vents get clogged. So that's a good place to have one. If you spend a lot of time in a garage or a workshop where you're doing work with different things, that it might be nice to have that. But then one of the last thing I was to think about is having one always kind of with you when you're doing different things. Now, we just came out of the winter. We're using space heaters, portable heaters, things like that. Always good to have that around. When we're using the fireplace, always good to just place that FireAde nearby. Now, the summertime, think about having one with us. If it's in the car, if we're going camping, if we're doing those campfires, we're doing a bonfire on the beach, wherever you are, having FireAde there just in case, or to also make sure that you put those fires and fun things out. For instance, when we're talking about fireworks, this isn't quite fireworks, but I want to show you this demonstration with this road flare. So I'll get that lit, and the road flare burns extremely hot. So we talk about water-based, so I wanted you to see this. I'm going to put this in this tank of water. I'm actually going to put it underwater, and you can see that it doesn't go out.
Right.
So, but I'm going to take the FireAde. So we're going to be able to see, I'm going to be able to put it out with the FireAde, and I'm also going to get it all over me. That's kind of what happens, right? So I've got it out. I'm always double checking that it's out. So you can see how quickly that put it out, but the water didn't. But here's the thing we talked about initially, that this is non-toxic. So having this on me, it's not a problem. I can clean that up. If it's indoors, you'll be able to clean that up. If you are going to use it, maybe it's a portable barbecue that you're using. I mean, we'll soon be into tailgating season, so maybe you want to use it there. Again, to put that fire out, that barbecue out, you can pop it in your trunk, and you can feel safe that you've completely cooled that surface. There's so many things that FireAde is useful for, where you'll use FireAde, where we would never consider using a regular fire extinguisher. So having FireAde means that we're always safer. When we're doing those fun things, we're safer. When we're at home, we have peace of mind knowing when the emergency happens, we're safer because we have FireAde. It works. I mean, that's the big thing about this. It works, and it's super easy to use. You already know how to use it. That button is there, and it's hard to see out here because it's still dark, but we have a little gauge on there so you know how much is left in there. You can always go back and use it again and again. It's not one use and it's done.
And you could see that on mine out here. There's the special gauge that Ron and the team developed, so you really understand how much is in there. The nice thing is that, it's one-touch dispersal of this, right? And you can use this numerous times until it's empty. So you don't have to use it once and then you throw it away. There's a lot in here, so you can really get multiple uses out of it. Again, we're saying multiple uses. Hopefully you never have to use this for most instances, right? But with this, you have to have it. Look, even if you don't buy it tonight or you don't buy it from us, please, please, please buy some type of fire extinguishing product for your home. You've got to have one. You cannot be in a residence without it, because fires can happen. It might be something on the stove. An accident can so quickly happen there. It might be candles that you've got around the house. Maybe it's the drapes, the curtains that catch fire. Maybe there's a smoker at home and falls asleep. There's a million things that can happen, but we know fires are actually on the rise. Over the past 12, 18 months, as more and more people have been at home, there have been more reported fires. So now more than ever, it's important to get FireAde. Now, often imitated, but never truly replicated, FireAde is the originator. It is the pioneer.